Hey guys, how are we doing? Today we're going to be hopping into how to negotiate your way into better benefits and better pay. This can usually be a really uncomfortable process for 90% of the world. So let's talk about how to make it easier. Employees currently have more power to negotiate for improved benefits and pay raises than at any point in the last 20 plus years. Take advantage of it. Due to the shortage of employees, most employers are desperate for good help. That means you should be seeking pay raises, promotions, and increased benefits. Unless you are completely satisfied with your job and your income, shop around. Chances are you will find someone desperate for help and willing to pay more than your current employer. If you like your job, shop around anyway, then politely ask your employer to match or beat those offers. Look after yourself. This employment opportunity will definitely not last forever. Some negotiating tips for people, since there are a lot of bad advice out there. Let's talk about it. Do not go into negotiations with your guns blazing. So often, I hear people suggesting to go in and demand an outlandish position because they think they'll catch the counterparty in such shock and panic that they'll easily walk them back to the best outcome for the initiator. This is not how real life negotiations work. Negotiations are best done when both parties feel like their needs are being met. If you have a hardline position and tons of leverage, then it's not a negotiation, it's a demand. Additionally, human emotion plays a big role in negotiations. It's not all hard calculations. Sometimes people will be more stingy simply because they think you're an ass. Silence is an incredible tool. In negotiations, the side talking the most is really the one in most control. Most of my successful negotiations were the ones where the other party talked over 80% of the time. Being super aggressive in an opening position is an easy way to create an us versus them situation where the counterparty doesn't believe you'll be negotiating in good faith. It's like if you went to a raise discussion and they offered you a 1 cent raise. You'd probably not even want to continue the discussion or probably the job after being so insulted, even if they were actually willing to go higher. Most negotiations are situations where all parties can win. So please don't lock yourself into the mentality that there is a set pie that you have to fight over for your share. It's possible to grow the pie during negotiations. So how? You find mismatched priorities between the parties. If negotiating an employment situation, what do you care about the most? You care about a pay raise, more vacation time, more autonomy, remote work. Now think about your employer and what they care about most. Things where you care a lot less compared to your employer and vice versa are where you can make everyone happier. Everything is negotiable. Got approved for remote work, but not as much as a raise as you'd hope. See if you can get a remote work stipend, which likely comes from a totally different budget than the salary does. Frame the benefit as something that keeps you working efficiently. So, for example, say I need extra monitors, I need a standing desk, I need a chair, etc., while also reminding them of the lower operation costs that come with remote workers. Even if your company doesn't have these benefits, your request may be the thing that spawns them into creation. Most negotiations are in a hidden party. That discussion between you and your manager, well, your manager is operating under their own constraints from their upper management or HR. You and your landlord are negotiating next year's lease. They have the bank and their mortgage on the other side to balance, which brings me to the most important part of any negotiation. It's information. The more prepared you can be in understanding positions and motivations of all counterparties, the better. The more independent data you can bring to support your reasoning, for example, industry pay comparisons, research on the tie between worker efficiency and workplace comfort, competitor actions, you need hard data, and the more hard data you have, the more convincing you will be. I really hope this video was able to give you guys some ideas on what you can do to get more money and more benefits from your employers. I know it can be scary, but like I said in the beginning, this is the time where you have the most leverage. So many companies are hiring and hiring for good pay with the inflation happening. This is the time to go and find something better. If your employer really thinks you're worth what the other company thinks you're worth, they'll match it. Don't pigeonhole yourself for any corporation. You've got this.